Hey everyone, so we wanted to jump on today and explain first of all why we created this platform and this channel and what we're trying to persuade and persuade? What?
I'm leaving that in.
Alright, so we're just going to explain in this video why we started this platform and what was the message and the meaning behind it.
So basically, I've noticed throughout my own journey, if I look back at my own parenting story, you know, there's definitely things that I've done previously in my own parenting that I would not be doing today. But I also feel in that moment back then, that was my very, very best, okay? So I want to share those moments with you as well because it allows you to understand that parenting is not about being perfect, and it's not about like parenting from a higher state always. You know, our best is sometimes our best, you know, and it might be from coming from a place when we're tired, we're grumpy, we're exhausted, we're emotionally drained. And in that moment, you know, however we're acting out, that is our best, you know. If I look at Aaliyah, I was only 21, 22 when I had her, and so my parenting was so different. I didn't have the patience I had today. I did scream at her. I did yell at her. I remember abusing and screaming at her one time in the car, and I think she just looked at me like, what the hell? But, you know, I was exhausted. And I wanted to create this platform with Aaliyah because, first of all, I want you to see that when you are vulnerable, when you're open with your kids, that, you know, even though she went through that journey with me being young, you know, she saw me weak, she saw me yell, she saw me, you know, probably scream and not be able to handle myself emotionally in the best of times. As we've grown, she's been able to understand that, you know, mum has also grown as a parent. So there's an understanding, you know. I'm not saying that, you know, that I was doing that and that I haven't opened up for change. It's like I was doing that and that was my best. And that's what, I guess that's the message you got, right?
Yeah, not just that, it also showed, like, if my mum was perfect all the time and I made a mistake, I'd be like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? You know, if I only saw the perfect side of you and say, whenever you were alone in your room at night, then you were like, oh my God, I'm so angry and stuff, and I never saw that, it would have been like, okay, if I get angry, what's wrong with me? What's going on with me?
That's true.
So it also makes me more open to being upset myself. So like even in my dog training, sometimes you can get peed off. Like say if Nala and Luna were not doing something that I wanted them to do, I can also feel okay to be frustrated sometimes. Like try my best to be calm, and it's always good to try and keep calm when you're in that mind state where you're like, okay, I can control myself. But when there's moments that you do lose control, because I saw my mum in those moments where she lost control sometimes too, I know that when I do it, it's still okay. I'm still doing my best in that time.
Absolutely. And what triggered this video today was I actually watched a podcast with Aubrey Marcus and Matthew McConaughey, the actor. And Matthew talks about a story where he first made that movie, A Time to Kill, I think. I think that was his first movie, or the one he got famous in. And what happened is after he became famous, he sort of needed a little bit grounding, was a bit confused, and he was feeling guilty about certain things, and he ventured off alone to find some answers. And he ended up in Mexico in a monastery, and he shared his story with a brother there. And he was saying he literally walked with that brother for 4 hours, purging all this feeling. I've done this, I've done that, I feel horrible, I feel guilty about this, and imagine this response, right? So after the 4 hours, the brother turned around to him, listened to him, and he said 2 words, which is, me too. So basically he allowed Matthew to be owning who he is, and he also told Matthew, you know, I've had those same emotions, I've felt those feelings too. I have thought guilty things, I have maybe hated on someone, I have maybe been really pissed off, and you know, annoyed, and I've reacted in ways that I don't approve of now, but I've been there, I've done it. And what Matthew said it did for him was just to release that, like, yeah, okay, I'm not the only one, you know. So I want this parenting platform to be like that, where we can share, and I can share stories with you when I did fuck up, when I did do dumb shit to my kids because I didn't know any better, you know. However, you know, I never closed up. I never stopped learning and opening myself up to learning, and I think that's what the parenting journey is. It's not parenting out of perfection. It's basically parenting at your best in any given moment, and constantly, you know, constantly growing. You know, constantly growing. That's it. There is no end destination in parenting. You know, I'm sure I'm going to keep learning until the day I die in parenting, and it's not about judgment. It's not about, you know, who yells the least. You know, it's not about that. So this is why we wanted to create this space.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like if we're more authentic about how our relationship is, it takes one person. So that's what we want to do, so that other people feel like, oh, okay, so I can screw up sometimes. Oh, okay, so it's okay if I do this, or it's okay if I don't do that. You know, it's not always about being like the mum that's always at every single sports event. It's not about being the mum that's always cooking dinner every night.
Absolutely.
It's not about the mum who's always just doing every single little thing, because at the end of the day, no one can maintain that, and that's not real. So even if your child is seeing you always trying to be perfect, they'll also feel the need to live up to a certain expectation. So, but sometimes you should just be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to do that. Today I want to have my own time. Today I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be perfect for you every single day. I want to also just take time to relax, and, you know, because and what it's made us do is, in moments where you've been weak, if I never saw you do that, I'd be like, oh, I expect you to, even in those moments, to just serve me. I expect you to be a mum. Whereas when mum's feeling a bit down that day, I take it upon myself to say, hey, mum, you know what? You relax today. I'll take care of this, or I'll take care of that. Because then your child also learns to also be the space for someone else, you know, understand that, okay, my mum can have emotions too.
And you know what? Sometimes it could be raw emotions. Like, I have turned around to Aaliyah and I have sworn, like I've said, you, right? Like, because I've lost my shit sometimes. And when you have this sort of authentic relationship or whatever, then what happens, the child doesn't take it personal. She doesn't say, my mum is swearing at me, because that's what she thinks about me. She just looks at it and goes, wow, my mum is maybe struggling with something today, and so let me just give her that space, you know. And I think that's what's important. So on here we're going to be sharing ourselves and our stories, and, you know, like our ups and downs, and so that it allows you guys to parent from that place of freedom and authenticity, you know.
Yeah, and not feel like, oh my gosh, I yelled at my kid must hate me, or I didn't do this for my kid today, so my kid must think I'm a terrible mom. It's just like, yeah.
So please do subscribe and like our channel. You know, really want to get more parents expressing who they are and being free to do that. Subscribe, and what is it?
All that other stuff.
All the other stuff. Hit
Whatever.
the bell notification.
Yeah, just, you know what to do more than us.
And share, you know, please, you know, because this is really important this day and age, is to create authentic relationships.
And comment what else you want to hear of, more of specific issues and anything like that.
Cheers.